Hi everyone, welcome. This is Chris Nanton from BioMind Executive, and today I want to talk a little bit about epigenetics. Now you all know I'm a epigenetics and genetics coach, and I practice reading, interpreting, analyzing genetic data, and kind of working with biohacking and lifestyle mechanisms, tools, technologies in order to optimize an individual's performance. And so I've gotten the question a lot about what exactly is epigenetics and what does it do. There's really an old adage and an old thought that says that our genes kind of dictate, our future health, our personalities, how we respond to situations. And really, that's no longer an excuse for us, because we know now, modern science is now demonstrating that there is something above the gene expression that actually, or above the DNA, that helps express our genetic modulators, if you will. And so epi literally means above the genetics. And so what we've come to learn in recent science over the last 15 years is that these inputs from our environmental factors, right, they're all inputs into the information base that the DNA is pulling from, and it tells the DNA how to respond and what to create based on that information. And it's really fascinating stuff. And, for many it might be disappointing, because we no longer have the excuse of, oh, it's genetic, I'm born that way. And for others, it's a very positive thing, knowing that there's been a genetic inheritance through your lineage that has a negative correlation. And it's like, well, I can avoid that too, as long as I do the right things. And epigenetics is demonstrating that over and over again. And I think, Bruce Lipton was really, for me, was the first one who really came out and in the mainstream and kind of presented this and proved it scientifically. And ever since then, it's kind of been a snowball effect, and we're seeing more and more about the validity and the scientific effectiveness of epigenetics and its impact upon our gene expression. And everything in our environment is an input, and our DNA responds to that input and puts out something in creation of our chemical responses within our body, okay? And so I just want to talk a little bit about, I have Bruce Lipton's book here with me today, Spontaneous Evolution. I believe this was his second book, published in about 2010 maybe. But anyway, it's a follow-up to The Biology of Belief, which talks about essentially like our belief mechanisms actually turn into reality. It's communication information for our cells, and our cells then respond to that communication through our belief system. And, really is the definition of epigenetics, using thoughts as its premise for evaluation. Really fascinating stuff. I really suggest you pick up some of Bruce Lipton's books, listen to his audios. He's on YouTube, he's on podcasts, he's all over the place. And a buddy of mine actually just did an interview with him on the Next Level podcast with Jeff Gussinelli. So I recommend checking that out. And in this book, he delves into what epigenetics means, and I just want to read an excerpt from this book if you have a second here. Okay, so basically we're finding that epigenetics influences gene expression, and here we go. The conventional belief that the genome represents read-only programs that cannot be influenced by the environment has now been proven to be one of those things we thought we knew, but we were wrong. Go figure. Epigenetic mechanisms actually modify the readout of the genetic code. The creative power of epigenetics is revealed in this fact. epigenetic mechanisms can edit the readout of a gene so as to create over 30,000 different variations of proteins from the same gene blueprint. Yes, 30,000 different outputs based on an input on the same gene blueprint. What? That's awesome. Now, depending on the nature of the environmental signals, the contractor characteristic of the epigenetic mechanism can modify a gene to produce either healthy or dysfunctional protein products. In other words, a person can be born with healthy genes, but through a distortion in epigenetic signaling, can develop a mutant condition such as cancer. On the positive side, the same epigenetic mechanism can enable individuals born with potentially debilitating mutations to create normal, healthy proteins and functions from their inherited defective genes. The positive news. Epigenetic mechanisms modify the readout of the genetic code so that genes represent read-write programs, not read-only programs. This means that life experiences can actively redefine our genetic traits. That also means that we have no more excuses for our genetic blueprint. Now is the time, folks, that we understand what our genetic blueprint is and provide ourselves with the proper input in order to maximize those expressions. Now, I'll talk to you in another video about some of the benefits to having these negative mutations. So please stay tuned, follow that, but also take heed, gather the information, and let's maximize our genetic blueprint, because we all have them. We're all architects and contractors. As Bruce Lipton says in this book, it's essentially, the contractors are the epigenetics, right? Like, we have the blueprint. We are the architect within us. The architect has already done his work. And now the contractor's coming in. I'm the contractor, right? Playing with the epigenetics in order to create something that is optimal for us, because life presents different challenges and opportunities, and, if we're equipped to handle those and know what to do, we'll be in a good spot. So that's my word of the day. And if you have any questions, please post below, like this post, share with your friends, and like my page at BioMind Executive. Thank you so much, everyone, and I'll talk to you later.